Welcome to our podcast, Hiking in Heels, with life coach Teresa Coltrane and full-time mum and writer Jessica Heedy Gandolfi. Hiking through life can sometimes feel like we are literally hiking in our heels.
As women in today's modern world, the pressure to tick all the social boxes is at its peak. Being perfect, being strong, having it all together, the list goes on. Inspired by our own journeys and life struggles, we have come together, and we are on a mission to empower other women to overcome their fears and tap into their greatness.
With special guests and our own personal stories, our aim is to bring light and healing to inspire you to take your life to the next level. As Coco Chanel once said, keep your head, heels, and standards high.
We invite you to kick off your heels, relax, and enjoy the show.
So welcome back to episode 5 of Hiking in Heels podcast, and we are absolutely thrilled today. We have a phenomenal guest, as always, I have to say, who is joining us today, and her name is Amanda Weil. Amanda is the founder of Accentuated Style, where fashion and love collide. Amanda spent over 13 years building her career in digital sales and marketing within companies such as Yahoo and Tremor Video. Her most recent role was as a senior executive at Sony Pictures Television, where she brought in a staggering $24 million in revenue over 4 years. After spending more than a decade in the corporate landscape, this amazing career was no longer satisfying and her soul was yearning for more. Amanda realized there was a need to revitalize femininity in the workplace to maintain a balanced flow of business, internal harmony, and productivity. Amanda saw firsthand how women spent so much time climbing the corporate ladder and trying to integrate into a patriarchal workforce that they forgot to actually take care of themselves and nurture their femininity and soul. After a tremendous amount of reflection and inner work, Amanda left the corporate world to deliver a solution for this need, and as a result, Accentuated Style was born. She now spends her time as a conscious stylist based in Los Angeles, working with women to accentuate their confidence and soul through image transformation. This allows them to elevate to the best version of themselves, both internally and externally, through style, so that they can go after their dreams with renewed energy and full clarity of who they are. She calls this inner style and teaches her clients the framework of how to express their inner essence through fashion. Amanda's greatest measure of success was once how many deals she could close and the size of those deals. Self-care and self-love were put on the back burner, constantly causing stomach issues, hormonal imbalances, and adrenal fatigue. Her greatest measure of success now is having discovered her authentic self, choosing happiness and wholeness on a daily basis. Amanda's greatest desire is to share this soul awakening process and lifestyle with her clients so that together we can elevate the vibrations of the planet. True confidence is the key to healing ourselves and the world. Amanda, that is just amazing.
I love it. Yes.
I get chills when you read it.
But I mean, who doesn't love fashion and style and just finding your soul purpose and passion in life? I mean, let's face it, women all over the world,
they're craving it right now. They really are figuring out their authenticity.
Absolutely. So tell us your story then. So tell us how you went from, I mean, that's such a phenomenal career in that corporate world. I mean,
it really is, yeah.
I'm sure so many women can relate to that, you know, building yourself, building your brand as like who you are, defined by how much money you can bring in that very masculine orientated world. To go from that to where you are now, complete femininity and just loving yourself. I mean, such a transformation.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's interesting because I always loved fashion and clothes and putting together outfits. However, growing up, we hear what society tells us, and they tell you to go to college, do a really great job, make good grades, and then go get a big job and make a lot of money. And so that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And I was super intrigued by advertising, took some classes in college and loved it. And so that's the route that I went. I ended up moving to New York City to get into advertising. That was at the time of the major layoffs, so it wasn't really happening, but it was fine because that then brought me to California, and then I did get into the agency life, and I loved it. It was a really great career for so many reasons. I met a ton of people. I learned so much about the industry. Knew that I wanted to be more on the publisher side in that sales role because I loved connecting with clients and bringing them a solution. And so for 13 years, that was great. And I was all about moving up in the world. And at the time, what I'm realizing now is that I absolutely measured my success based on external things. So based on how much money I could bring in, because we had goals that we had to hit. So that was the measure. You were my former boss, I was used to say, you're only as good as the last deal that you've closed.
Wow.
And so if you had a bad month or a bad quarter, all of a sudden you maybe were the rising star top seller, but then all of a sudden everyone was looking at you like, what is wrong? What's gotten into you? And it's like, well, maybe that client just didn't have the money to spend, or maybe things are shifting. And so that really used to get me. I went through a lot of ups and downs.
Well, the pressure that you put on yourself,
right,
when you're in that environment. I've worked in the sales industry previously, and it is tough, and it is exactly what you say. You're only as good as your last deal. What you did yesterday doesn't matter. It's what you're going to bring in tomorrow, and it's peaks and troughs, and it's challenging, but you internalize, oh, what have I done wrong? Yes. Why haven't I managed to do this? Where have I failed?
And then their answer is work harder, work longer hours, work more, get on the phone, go to more meetings. And the reality, I think, that we all know is that that's not the truth. The truth is really to flow in our femininity and let the universe bring us what it's supposed to bring us.
Right.
So I started going through a process of transformation. I started taking some classes through MITT, which is really about just discovering your authentic self and what makes you happy. And that is what was the impetus for me to really step into the direction of styling, which I'd always dreamed of being a stylist my whole life. And as I was saying earlier, I just felt like after going to a really great college, and my parents, so grateful, my parents paid for that, there was a part of me that thought, well, wait, I can't just quote unquote throw that all away to go be a stylist. Because at the time I didn't realize what an impact I actually would have on women as a stylist. So getting more to their heart and their confidence versus just what society tells us is the definition of success and making a lot of money for someone else.
So your health was affected to the point where you just, one of the big reasons for you to look at a different route, do you think?
That was definitely a big part of it. My stomach hurt almost every day. Well, I'd be fine on the weekends, and then Monday morning would roll around and my stomach would start hurting. Yeah. It's the worst feeling. And so I never felt comfortable. And there was something in me that always said, you're meant for more. You're meant for more. And so I would get so frustrated because here I had this dream career, what so many people would, a life that so many people would dream to have, and I was not happy. Right. And I just knew that God had me here for a bigger purpose. Yeah. And I struggled with that because I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? What does that look like?
Right. Well, I mean, I love how you've coined, yourself a conscious stylist, confidence creator, and image transformer, and I just absolutely love those terms. I think they're incredible. But conscious stylist is really interesting to me because I don't think I've really ever heard of that. You hear of stylists and you hear fashionistas, you hear all these different verbiages for what you're doing, but a conscious stylist is really unique, I think. Can you explain more about how you came to that and what that really means?
Absolutely. So going through this transformation process that I've gone through over the past year of really tapping into my authentic self and realizing who that is, my fashion has even changed a little bit more because I've let go of that A+ Amanda that used to exist in the corporate world, and I've stepped into Queen Amanda, which is essentially my new persona, how I choose to show up every day. And so my style has changed with that to really emulate that inner feeling. Right. And so that term conscious stylist for me truly means, first of all, having an awareness of who you are on the inside. Who is your authentic self? Who is that woman that's in you yearning to come out? Right? How does she feel? What does she look like? What does she say? What's her name? Name her. Like I named her Queen Amanda, so name her.
I love Queen Amanda. That's awesome.
And then realizing what pieces of clothing then speak to you from that version of yourself. So that every time you put on that dress or that you put on that specific color, you're reminded, oh yeah, I am Queen Amanda. So just that awareness, that connection. And then also just understanding how maybe you're not feeling like your best self that day, and there's specific pieces of clothing that you can reach for then to elevate you. So maybe there's a certain color that, like for me, magenta. If I'm feeling kind of, I'll put on magenta or a bright chartreuse, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, I'm good. Like I got this. I can. Yeah. So that's really where that that comes from. And then the image transformation plays into that, because another phrase I love is dress for the woman that you're becoming.
Love that.
And she has no other option than to appear. So if you start really wearing and emulating who that woman is, that better version of yourself, because we all have her within. Yeah. It's not like you have to go out and completely change who you are. It's just getting rid of the cobwebs that have piled up.
And allowing her to be her and not being afraid of expressing who that is.
Right.
Like you said, I like how you said you were, going from A+ Amanda to Queen Amanda. I think that's so true for so many people. And if you are in a world where you're constantly working and trying to just like make the numbers, you're not thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about what you really want. And I love that that's what came out of just like tapping into who you truly are and what's authentic for you. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. And even just
having the confidence to do that too, isn't it? And that's where I think it all comes from, because I know when we were chatting previously, you had mentioned that when a client hires you, you'll go over, you'll meet with them, you'll consult with them and look at who they are and ask them to give themselves their names. And I thought that was just fantastic, because like you say, you're bringing the awareness in and making them conscious and giving them the confidence to truly become who they need and want and deserve to be, actually, I think.
And it gives them an easy framework
right.
of how to then approach fashion and style, because I think a lot of women are scared. And look, I would be too. You look at the fashion as it's defined today, you look at like the Anna Wintours and that sort of vibe of fashion, and it's a little intimidating.
Oh, absolutely.
Even for myself, who is a stylist. That world is still very intimidating to me. So the whole goal is to make fashion and style accessible for everyone. And so this gives them a very easy framework to do that. You can go to Target or you can go to Barney's. It doesn't matter where you shop. You know the woman that you are, and so you know how to grab pieces wherever you are and put that together.
So interesting. I like how you said, as you were transforming, your style changed. Personally, I have experienced something similar to that as well, because I went from corporate to following my heart and starting my coaching vision, and I came out to California. And when I came out, I got rid of everything I owned. Like literally, like my mom was like, have you lost your marbles? And I was like, no. I'm like, I just didn't want anything at all from that old
that past,
life, that old
life.
past.
Yes.
And even the clothes, like I got rid of so many clothes, and I'm still kind of rebuilding. I think I'm still finding my way with who that is, but it just, any sign or clothing piece or anything that I saw from the old life, I was like, I didn't want it anymore. I didn't even resonate with it. It wasn't even who I was anymore. So it's very interesting to be like, see it from that point of view.
Well, clothing also holds energy.
Yeah.
Right? So you put that on, and it is going to bring you back to that person that you've transformed from. And so that can be a little shocking. So that's why I think regular closet audits and purging is super important too. I just a few months ago purged, oh my gosh, like piles and piles and piles of clothes that I'm now going to be donating or selling or whatnot, because it's not me anymore.
Yeah. And you have to clear the way to allow the new to come in, the fresh energy, the fresh you, the fresh vision, the fresh life, really moving forward. And if you don't get rid of the old and you're hanging on to it for whatever reason, just in case, I think that's a big one. I'm like, just in case I might wear that again, and I haven't worn it for 5 years. Why do I need to have it hanging in my closet? It's just not going to happen. But I liked how you said when we were chatting previously about how it's almost like shedding that skin.
Yes.
When you explain to your clients, you need to go through this transformation, like a snake will shed its skin to move through into this new version of you.
And what I love is when I go over to a client's house and immediately they're like, all right, let's go up to the closet. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm not like a traditional stylist here. We're going to sit at the table. I brought us some tea. We're going to light some Palo Santi. We're going to just like get ourselves in the right frame of mind. And then we spend a good 45 minutes going through the questionnaire that I have for them to really tap in before we even touch the clothes.
But that's great, because if you don't fully understand who they are, and they probably, like you say, because we rush, 100 miles an hour.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we've got an hour's appointment, let's get to the closet, let's go through what we have, and then let's go shopping and restock. But like you say, unless you get to the core of it, with anything, you can't really solve the problem. And if you're just masking it, just temporarily, just quick fixing, it's not going to really ultimately give them or you, as the stylist, the results that they ultimately are looking for.
The hardest thing for me is when someone walks up to me and they're like, well, what should I wear? How should I dress? And I'm like, I hold on for a second. And I used to make myself wrong For that, I used to think, oh, well, how am I a stylist if I can't just look at someone and say, well, you should be wearing this, because that's what you see in all the shows, and that's what, you know, that's what you think a stylist should do. And until I realized, oh, well, that's actually my gift, is that I get to know them, let them be seen, and let them know that they're important and that I care more about them than just their clothes. And then from there, it just kind of flows in where I'm like, oh yeah, well this would look great on you, or how does this feel on you? And approaching it more that way.
I love that. And I love this whole concept of just, you know, connecting with women and helping them find who that woman is. Like, you know, you named yourself Queen Amanda. And I love this idea, because I think as a woman, a lot of our power lies in our femininity, or what is that?
Femininity.
Tripping over our words this morning.
Femininity. I can't even say it. But I think we don't realize that we have that power. So when we're connected to her and we're in alignment with her and we dress in a way that makes us feel that confidence, like, we are so powerful. We don't even have to say anything. And it's just like, if we look like we're beaming and glowing, like, everything is like a magnet. Like, we're magnetized. Like, everything just goes for us. And I don't feel like men have that same capability. And so I think what you're doing is you're allowing women to find themselves and tap into that, like, higher self and tap into their power and use that, like, aspect of it. So I think that's really cool.
And even if they're a stay-at-home mum, or even if they're corporate, or even if they're in between, whichever realm or walk of life they're in, it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't, you know, segregate from one to the next. No. It's so all-encompassing.
Imagine a stay-at-home mom that is so in touch with herself that that's how she's raising her children, right? And they're so aware then. It's just, it's creating a whole new generation of human beings. That understand authenticity, and they see mom taking care of herself, and so they realize that they too get to take care of themselves, or they get to take care of their wives and treat them like a queen. It's raising the vibration just of all of our future generations.
It's true. And I love you were talking about eradicating this competition between women and not supporting each other, and this is an amazing tool to be able to do that through your work.
I feel that so many women are mean to other women due to a lack of confidence. So they feel that the only way that they can rise is by pushing someone else down or making themselves feel better by trying to judge and point out something that's wrong with the other woman. When the reality is if we just focus on truly loving ourselves, the quirks, the good things, the things we maybe don't love so much, if we just love ourselves wholly, then the only energy that we have to give out is love and acceptance. And when women get in that place, like, we are truly the ones that are going to heal the world right now, is what I believe. 100%. Mother Earth is like begging for us right now to rise up and join together and heal the world. And so creating confidence conscious women is my goal in life, and I will not be done pursuing this goal until every woman on this planet is fully confident and looking fabulous.
I just love that. And it is so true. And it's funny because, you know, as I've kind of started to build my own business, there's like, you know, so many coaches out there, right? And so it can feel intimidating and you can feel a little jealous, right? Of like, oh, they're doing this, like, I want to be doing that. Like, so there's that whole comparison theory. But I think you're right. It's like learning to love and accept yourself exactly where you are on your journey, and being happy for the other person. Like, I'll still get waves of that where I'll be like a little jealous, but like, oh my gosh, no, actually I'm so excited for them. What can I learn from them? Like, how can I be different? And like, you're right, it's as soon as we all come together and lift each other up, like, we are changing the world. We are stepping into our calling. And I think it's so fun to share your story. It's like this, where you were in corporate and you switched to this, like, just letting women understand like the power that they have individually, and then like as we grow together too, like, oh my gosh, like, we will be saving the planet.
And I love what you were just saying about thinking like, oh, there's already so many coaches, there's already so many stylists, because I've definitely felt that way too. And I, being in Los Angeles, we're really the epicenter of consciousness, right? So that's why I think we feel like there's so many of us, quote unquote, in the world. But the thing to keep in mind is that we all have a different way of going about it. And the clients that you're going to attract in are totally different than the clients that another coach is going to attract in. And the reality is there's still not enough of us doing this transformational work in the world. So that's what I tell myself every day when I start to think the same thing.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, even just with our podcast too, there's so many people trying to do this work, but we were saying before, like, there's not enough. Like, everyone should be sharing and doing and lifting each other up. Like,
exactly.
Well,
that's how we met, wasn't it? Because
Right.
we have a mutual friend, and I had coffee. I hadn't seen him for ages. James Nicholas Kinney, we're so grateful to you.
Fabulous James.
And I hadn't seen him for months and months, and coffee with him, telling him what we were doing. He was and he's very fashion conscious.
Oh, he's so stylish.
Fabulous, so stylish. And he said immediately off the bat, you have to speak to Amanda. She is going to be an incredible guest. She's amazing. She's doing awesome things in the world, and it's just about building women up and supporting women. And literally immediately texted you, didn't he, straight away, and that was it. We just connected and hit it off, and it was just the perfect timing.
It is, and I was telling you too that the night before I had been out with a friend. She started as a client, now she's become a friend, because that's typically how it happens.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was saying to me, I feel like you need a podcast. You need something in the morning where you're just like pumping women up as they go to work. And then literally the next morning I got that text from James, and same, I hadn't connected with him in a few months as well. So it's just, thank you, universe. Like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us more about, because I know you've got some workshops coming up, and you're really sort of branching out into that different direction. So tell us about the workshops.
Yes, I'm trying something new, because I was thinking about because I'm always looking for different ways to network and meet more women, and I started thinking, what is an event that I would like to go to? And so then this workshop was birthed, and it's really about conscious style and image transformation. So first of all, understanding what exactly is conscious style. I know we touched on it a little bit today, but diving deeper into that, and sharing some of the steps and the tools that I have used over this past few years to really get into that place of understanding my true style, and then providing them the framework of how to then express that through their clothes. So that's going to be the first part of it. We will go through the process where they can come up with the names that I mentioned of their shadow self, the woman that they're saying thank you for but you're no longer serving me, right? And then the woman that they're stepping into. So we'll go through that exercise. And then the second part of the workshop is we're actually going to customize a piece of clothing that represents this higher version of themselves.
Cool.
That is
so
so cool.
Every time they put it on or they look at it, they'll be reminded, oh yes, I am Queen Amanda. So for this first workshop, the one that I'm doing in August, we're actually going to customize denim jackets, because that's kind of all the rage right now too, to customize your jean jacket.
Jean jacket, just throw it on.
And the cool part too is I'm bringing in, at each of these workshops, I'm going to bring in a different woman to partner with me on it. So for this first one, I'm bringing in my dear friend Sarah, who is she practices Reiki and Akashic records, and can realign your chakras. So she's going to take us through a meditation, a self-love meditation initially, and then we're actually going to use chakra-infused paint.
Whoa, that's cool.
On the jackets.
Wow.
So she'll be able to tap in and see which chakras seem a little out of balance to give you guidance on colors that would be good for you to use.
How fun.
That's
so I'm excited. So the August workshop is the first one. That one currently is, we're sold out on that one. However, the goal is to start doing these monthly.
Right.
So for anyone listening, if you're interested in the September workshop, you can email me. I know we're going to share my email when you send out the podcast. Yeah. So you can email me and I'll keep you posted on when we have the September location and date finalized.
Cool.
So it's a whole session of internal, externals, and whether you end up feeling that your way forward is just to wear sweatpants with the jean jacket that you customize.
That's great.
That's all you need.
That's great.
And if it is to be the super high-end designer, then that's also great. It really, but all coming from within and feeling the confidence to step into that 150% is just...
How many times have you seen a woman, well, maybe not all the time, but I mean, sometimes you just see a woman walk into a room and she's literally wearing a white t-shirt and a pair of jeans, but you were just like, whoa, goddess. And it's because it's the inner glow, right? It's the inner glow is shining through whatever she wears, right? Or she could be in her workout clothes and you're like, oh my gosh, who is that woman? And it's really just getting to the inside. Style fashion is really just my tool, because that's what I love and that's what makes me happy, but it's really about getting to the inner light.
Yep, exactly. I love it, and it's such an inspiring way. Like we said, women love clothing, and like it's nice to have a tool like that to tie it in with like that growth and transition in your life.
And how many times you hear, I know I say it, I hear my daughter say it, I think just as women generally, I've got nothing to wear.
Right.
And you look at your closet and it's stacked full, overflowing with stuff, and you're like, I've got nothing to wear. How can you have nothing? you've got loads of things. No, and it's more about how you're feeling inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
And other mornings you walk in, you're like, oh, perfect, and you pull something off the hanger and you slip it on and off you go. So it really is more about the internal mechanisms and thinkings that I think affect everything else.
And what's interesting that you said that with the last 2 clients that I've worked with one of them, she kind of thought the same thing. I'm so bored of my clothes. I don't have anything in there. I went in and created 15 outfits just with what she already had in there. And she looked at me like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I never thought I could pair those 2 together. Yeah. But it was because it was resonating based on this woman that she was stepping into. And so that's where I was coming, the frame of mind. And then another client last week that I was working with, same thing. She was getting dressed. She needed to find something for something she was shooting. And she's like, I know there's nothing in my closet. We're going to have to go shopping. I know what I want. It's not here. And I was like, okay, just give me a second. 10 minutes later, I was like, okay, put this dress on and I want you to put this jacket on. And she was like, oh, this is perfect. So it's like, at the same time, I'm good at saving women money.
Yeah. Well, that's it as well, because we're all sometimes on a budget. We're not always necessarily free to go off and spend willy-nilly in just, the latest, hottest fashions. It needs to be sometimes about being more conservative and reusing and recycling. Yeah. And donating as well and giving back.
Yes.
I think is really crucial too.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, and that makes me just want to go home now and go clean up my closet and remember what I have in there and keep it organized, so you are in touch with the pieces that you have and make sure that they are in alignment with who you are. Because I feel like sometimes we're in that space where we're like, oh, I have nothing to wear. It's because you're tired of what you're wearing, or it doesn't feel like it's yours anymore.
Right. Or thinking about the other possibilities to mix and match it together. Because sometimes you just need to switch it up a little bit.
Right. So do people just hire you as a one-off? Or do they hire you as an ongoing basis? Or how do you like to work with your clients then? Because I've never actually used a stylist ever in my life. And I know a couple of my friends have, and they've sworn by it. And even if it's just little things like just adding a pair of earrings or a big chunky necklace to a t-shirt and jeans, just changes the whole outfit and changes your mood. But I've never done it, so I wouldn't even know how to, what to expect or anything.
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. There's a couple different ways. So with some of my clients, it is, they want that initial closet audit where I take them through that questionnaire process. We really tap into who they are, and then we go through their closet and we purge and I mix together outfits. And then I will create a shopping list for them of key things that would be really great. Maybe they don't have a black leather pencil skirt, right? And that would be really hot with a lot of tops that they have. So I'll create a list of things that could be added. So that's essentially one session. It's usually about 3 to 4 hours. So I get to spend a really good chunk of time with my clients. I can definitely do it faster, but if they have the time, I really enjoy that 3 to 4 hours. From there, the next step would then be to either go on a shopping trip together and start to pick out some of those pieces, or for some clients that are just too busy, I will shop for them and then come back over and we'll go through the collection. So that's what some clients like to do. And then with other clients, the goal of what I enjoy with my clients is having them more regular. So it's quarterly sessions, right? Where I'm coming, updating quarterly. Okay. And then ideally my dream that's on my vision board is to have clients where every week or every 2 weeks I'm with them and I'm pulling out their outfits for those upcoming week or 2 weeks, because it also gives me the touch point to check in with them and just make sure that they're still feeling transformed and that they're still doing their steps, their morning meditations and different things that I've recommended to keep them in that higher elevation.
I love it.
So that's really the goal. It's essentially coaching, right? Through style.
I love it. I think it's brilliant. I think it's such a nice way. Like if someone's interested in that and that's a piece that really speaks to them, it's so cool. You're reaching them at a different level. I love it. It's so creative.
Thank you. And then there's, of course, also the option if someone just has a big event coming up and they need help picking something out or shopping for it, I do that too. So there's multiple different ways to work with me.
Do you find that you've ever, I'm sure you've come across that your clients are just so unhappy with the way that they look physically, their body shape or size, that they're put off by a lot of things that they may want to wear but don't know how to wear, and if you suggested, when you said black leather pencil skirt, my first thing was, I could never wear one of those. But that's my own issue with just, and so if you said to me, Jess, go buy that, I'll be like, no, sorry, can't do that. So I'm sure that the women you must have that have these kind of issues that they need to overcome about how they see themselves and perceive themselves to be. How do you deal with that?
Oh gosh, that's a good question, because that does happen a lot as women. We're so hard on ourselves. I really get them to focus on the things that they do love about themselves, just trying to kind of flip the switch a little bit. And I will ask them to just try and play with me a little bit and just try on the skirt. And half the time they'll put something on and say, oh, I actually do look, I didn't think I would look this good in stripes, or, oh, you're totally right. And so I think a lot of time they just have those thoughts in their heads and they're just too scared to take the step. So even just me being kind of playful with them about, well, just try it. You never know. Just let's play. And also, I'm not going to ever push anyone into something if they're still really, really uncomfortable and there's more work that it's clear that they need to do on a certain thing. I'm never going to push them to wear something that they're not comfortable in.
Yeah.
This totally reminds me of the movie with Amy Schumer, I Am Pretty.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh my God, you
I need
have
to watch
see
it.
Oh my God,
Fabulous.
you will love it.
So fun.
The reason why I'm singing that is because one day I can put on something and be like, I look so good. And then the next day I'm like, oh my God, I look so fat. Like, and so literally, like, whatever your vibration is or whatever you're feeling, like, that's going to change the glasses that you see yourself. And so, you know, I love that you kind of get people to step out or play with it. It's funny because even my partner, I'll like put something on and I love it one day and the next day he's like, it looks exactly the same as it did yesterday. And it's like, there's nothing wrong. Like, it's like he goes, but you see something different. And I'm like, you do. And so, and it has to do with that loving and accepting of the self and having the confidence and just really like embracing like who you are. But there's you'll have to see it because there's a really great part in the movie where it's all about that. So it's super funny.
I will have to, But no, you're so right. It's the things that we say to ourselves. That's really what drives all that. And if you think about it, our body is like 85% water. So the words that we're speaking and those vibrations are coming right back into us. So if we're speaking those negative things about ourselves, then of course our body's going to react to that too. Whereas if we're saying how much we love ourselves and doing our morning meditation, and I have a credo, like a motto that I read to myself every morning. And it's just taking that time to just really get your head in the game. Like, remind yourself, oh, yeah, I am freaking amazing. I can do whatever I want. I'm Wonder Woman, you know? And it just, then you put on an outfit and you feel so much better. Yeah,
it puts you into that space of being, like you said, you named yourself Queen Amanda. Like, it puts you, like, we all just need to be, like, what it is that we want to be, you know? And you just have to kind of fake it till you make it. But, like, if you are consistent with it and, you know, learn to love and embrace yourself, you can do it for sure.
And act as if.
Act as if
it's already happening.
It's already done.
It's already happened.
Yes, absolutely. I am.
Exactly. Yeah. So that kind of brings us nicely into the charity, because obviously we'd love to highlight charities. And I think all of this, the charity that you really so passionately support and believe very strongly in, the way that you're wanting to help and promote is to help give back. So the charity is Chrysalis.
Chrysalis, yes.
So do you want to tell us a bit about that and how you're hoping to really help and inspire the women and the guys, but the women through that charity?
Yes. So the whole goal of Chrysalis, their vision is to help the homeless and lower income to prepare and find jobs. And I feel so blessed that I've been able to follow 2 different career paths that have served me beautifully at the time that they did. And I had the means, I had the education, and I had the clothing to step in and get both of those jobs, right? And unfortunately for the homeless, they don't necessarily have that. So Chrysalis provides training for them, helps them get interviews, and then I think the most important part is they provide them with the clothing that they can then wear to the interviews, because everything we've just been talking about, that it can totally transform you when you're wearing something that makes you feel super confident. So you can donate clothing to Chrysalis. That's what I love to do. So anything that maybe is your old self that you don't feel aligns with you anymore would be beautiful for you to then donate so that someone else could put that on and go and interview and support themselves.
It's such a rewarding thing to be able to do, to see and to help people get that confidence to go after a job that they really desperately need, love, want, whatever it is. Have the confidence to do it.
Because it's so true that people do. I don't like saying the word judge, because I don't like to judge people, and I don't think we should, but people do judge you based on how you look and what you wear. So being able to step into an interview feeling great about yourself and then get the job and be able to be financially stable and support yourself and your family.
That's amazing.
So I was telling you, ladies, I'm going to look into if there's an opportunity for me to also go there and help dress them before the interviews. I need to look into that a little more, because previously I've donated clothes and supported that way.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do a little more hands-on.
That would be amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yay.
And one of the things, I know, and we talked about this too, one of the things that I'd like to eventually introduce with my company, I did a little searching to see if anyone else was doing it, and I don't think they are, is I want to be able to take young girls that maybe don't have the best mother figure, take them shopping.
Oh, that would be so cool.
So that they start to understand the power of clothing, and also so that gives us time to do the coaching with them. Like when I'm with them, talking to them, showing them that I'm interested, helping them realize who they truly are and how that anything that they want can be achieved. And so that's what's on my vision board also for the future of the nonprofit part of my company that I'd like to launch.
I think that's amazing, to give them the confidence to accept themselves and their bodies exactly as they are,
Right.
and to love themselves regardless of whatever size or style of clothing they have to wear to fit their body shape and
Right.
style, knowing that it
Right.
all comes from within.
Right.
To empower them is just...
And start them at that young age where we see bullying happening, right?
Absolutely.
So start it so that we can, again, eradicate bullying, because that
Yeah.
also comes from the same thing as a lack of self-confidence.
Yeah.
So just, I feel like this younger generation, I just want to get them, because the universe is definitely transforming now, and I feel so many people becoming conscious and realizing and having an awareness of what they can do to help others. So now being able to start that at a younger age too, so that that's just the norm moving forward.
Yeah, teaching young women to love their bodies early on and how to dress for that too. Because I think if you're confused when you're younger and trying to get attention, you may be putting on certain outfits that may not be as appropriate and be attracting the wrong attention. And, teaching them, how to embrace that, power within them, and just like how to dress for who they are. And I think that's so important to get that younger age for sure.
And realizing their value and their worth.
Yeah, and how special our bodies really are. I think
Yes.
women's bodies, they're so special. We can do so many wonderful things, and they need to be treated like very special and taken care of and nurtured and loved.
You are beautiful, you are strong,
Right.
you are powerful, you are loved.
Teaching them all of those things at that early age is so important.
Amazing message, for sure. Well, I think that what you are doing is just incredible. It's inspiring. I think it's full of passion from within you. It just glows just speaking with you when you spoke on the phone, speaking now. I'm just like, this woman is amazing. Incredible things. So if you want to find out more about Amanda and her services, her workshops, then we're going to post all of the information as usual on our show notes, and we'll have links to all of her social media and her marketing, and feel free to reach out, and we'll have links to Chrysalis as well. So if you want to be able to donate and to help those less fortunate than ourselves, then that will all be there too.
Yeah. And you can find us on Instagram at Hiking in Heels, Heals. Also, our website is Hiking in Heels, Heals. Also, we have a Facebook group and a tribe that we're building. So join us on Facebook and join the conversations. We want to, continue to build this community and help support each other and lift each other up. So we'd love for you to connect with us there.
And we hope you've enjoyed the show, and we're so grateful to have you take time out of your busy schedules and tune in. So we look forward to bringing more exciting and interesting and inspiring, beautiful guests.
Yes. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, ladies, for creating all of this.
We love
beautiful.
it. Yeah. Thank you.